Hey everybody, you guys want a tech demo? Too bad, you're gonna get a tech demo. So today's stream ended with a lot of work done on the rail system here. Ignore the site latency, that's actually my computer and not the rail system. So yeah, this is it. You can see a lot of it, what's going on in the screen already. Been a lot of testing, a lot of different variations. So in the previous video, I believe I showed off these rails. There wasn't really much going on with them. There's now a lot more sophistication to the rails. They can be placed on any side and in two different directions per side, although the two different directions represent both directions in that side. So there's 12 rotation values, but 24 directions are represented by those 12 rotation values. As for these blocks with the arrows on here, these are the powered rails. These are what is going to be moving the cart around and actually causing motion and various different things. I may change the model on this one a little bit in texture to be the same size as this. I'm also looking at the potential possibility of making it an octagon. There's various things going on because this is not exactly a planned out feature. I've been winging it mostly. But these represent, there's 24 rotation values for these. These can be placed on all 6 sides and 4 rotations per side. There is also 7 different types of these. So there's one that just pushes it, there's one that rotates. There's different elevator ones, splitter ones. Right now, only the motion one's working. As you can see over here, this one is pushing everything around. Right now, the rails can capacitate any number of carts. There's no real collision between the carts. This will be implemented later. There is collision for the player, so the player can be pushed off of here by the carts. The carts have constant motion. The rail logic is not at all based on Minecraft's logic. I was originally looking at doing that, and after a few minutes of staring at their code, I decided just to wing it. And I ended up with something that's basically the same. Right now it doesn't rotate. That's because these rails only push things. The reason this rail's backwards is that's a graphical bug. I will be correcting this later today. Is only on the top side does that bug exist. All other sides are perfectly fine. Right now, though, also the cart only works on the top side, even though the logic is programmed for all of them, and the logic is programmed for the cart. There is currently no way to place the carts on the sides. These work out pretty good. I'm probably going to slow down the speed of the carts. Right now, they're set to 0.3 meters a tick, which is 6 meters a second. So they're moving pretty quick. They'll be slowed down. They will rotate. There'll be several different orientations. I'm going to be changing the model. And I'm also looking into the possibility of doing a cartless, well, not so much cartless version. You won't have to have an item for this to work. Right now, as you see, I'm clearly placing an item on here. There's a possibility that I won't have an item required for this, that this will behave like BuiltCraft pipes. The receptacle to hold the missile will just pop up when you add a missile to the rail. The missiles will be added to the rail by a separate block. That is currently not in development. But moving over to the next part over here. This is what inevitably is what the rail system is going to end up being used for. Right now, I don't have everything to show off for this. There would inevitably actually be autocrafters, which would be one of these. So the autocrafter would be a workstation, and you would have a robotic arm attached to it, which would be crafting your missile and everything. When the missile is crafted, then it would load it onto the rail, and the rail system would put it in here. So if I pull the card off, it wouldn't, well, yeah, that's a bug. Unfortunately, because I just finished coding these today, there are a few problems still with how the missiles behave. But say you had this back here, and yeah, there's a few bugs to work out. But say you had that, it loaded it in, it would then push it here, and then it would load it onto your magazine system. Now, the magazine system is not actually programmed right now for the placeholder for this demonstration. I'm using silos. In theory, you could load directly into the silo too. There will be another system for that. But you would have a magazine, and this would push a missile in here, and then it would push all the missiles over. Then at the end of the magazine, you would either have an offloader to load stuff back onto the cart system, or you would have a silo ready to accept more missiles. So this inevitably was all the technology going to be used for. As well, this allows for various different functionality. Because of how the rails are programmed, the rails are exactly similar to the block type that the Minecraft rails are based off of. So these are actually blocks. Unlike these are tile entities. Tile entities actually tick in the world, and they end up eating up more CPU, and because of their renderers, they end up actually also eating up a lot more frame rate. But with normal rails, they're stationary blocks. They're cached on their icon value and everything else. So these render really quickly and they render effectively and don't drop your frame rate down. So that's one advantage out of this. The second one is I can push these with a piston. So you can end up building really complicated systems that allow you to redirect your rails around everywhere with this. As you see, I've already got elevating rails. One of the possibilities would be to push this up and you would have a circuit which would come down here, junction across here, push back up, and then you would pull down and go right across. Although that's not really practical because the rails are going to be relatively cheap. I'll probably build them out of something like an iron fence or something like that. But that's been it so far. I will have some more videos for you guys later.